Today, we are going to delve into a fascinating story that has been spreading rapidly across international news outlets, originating from an unexpected moment in Beijing during the month of September in the year 2025. Imagine the solemn yet intensely charged atmosphere at Tiananmen Square, where thousands of soldiers marched in perfect unison, the resounding beats of drums blending seamlessly with the wind rustling through vibrant red flags, and the sunlight casting its glow upon some of the most powerful leaders on the global stage. During the ceremony commemorating the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, three prominent leaders from Russia, North Korea, and China, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Xi Jinping, unintentionally allowed a hot microphone to capture a private conversation that captured the attention of the entire world. They discussed a topic that sounds straight out of science fiction novels. If human organs could be replaced continuously, people might live up to 150 years old, or even achieve a form of immortality. This exchange was not merely a casual joke among old acquaintances but rather a reflection of humanity's deep-seated longing, an obsession that has persisted for thousands of years, now reignited by cutting-edge advancements in modern biotechnology. Although it appeared to be a spontaneous dialogue, in the context of a volatile global political landscape, it carried a dual nature, both authentic and potentially a clever tactic to divert attention from other sensitive issues, leaving listeners chilled by the intriguing blend of immense power and the insatiable desire for eternal life. This particular conversation took place immediately following a group photograph involving 26 heads of state, as the three leaders walked side by side, with an interpreter whispering in Chinese. Biotechnology is advancing without pause. Human organs can be replaced on an ongoing basis. The longer one lives, the more youthful one becomes, and it is even possible to attain immortality. Xi Jinping laughed heartily, Putin nodded in agreement, and Kim Jong-un smiled while glancing over, all under the clear Beijing sky that was nonetheless heavy with a military ambience. This moment swiftly became headline news on major outlets such as CNN, The Guardian, and Reuters, serving as a poignant reminder that even at the pinnacle of authority, individuals cannot escape the fundamental fear of death. It felt genuine because it echoed real-world research into organ transplantation and life extension, yet it also seemed unreal, akin to promotional rhetoric for a distant utopian future. If the goal is to capture public interest or steer discussions away from contentious topics, a narrative like this possesses tremendous impact. Deep down, however, who does not harbor dreams of living longer, healthier, and perhaps forever? This is an ancient aspiration, burning brightly from the era of emperors to the present day. To appreciate how timeless this obsession truly is, let us travel back in history a bit. In ancient times, Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, obsessively pursued the elixir of immortality, dispatching thousands of alchemists to scour the lands far and wide in search of a potion that would grant eternal life, only to perish from mercury poisoning caused by the very pills he consumed. His terror of death drove him to construct an enormous mausoleum guarded by the famous terracotta army, intended to protect his spirit for eternity. Then there are the tales of immortal cultivation in East Asian cultures, where Taoist practitioners endured rigorous training for hundreds of years atop misty mountains, breathing pure air amid fog-shrouded bamboo forests, all in pursuit of transcending the cycle of birth and rebirth to fly freely as immortals. In the Western world, alchemy legends add an extra layer of mystery. Originating from the ancient Egyptian civilization with its enigmatic pyramids and the quietly flowing Nile River, alchemy spread to Asia via the dusty Silk Road and to medieval Europe during its darker ages. Alchemists worked in dimly lit laboratories filled with the pungent smell of sulfur and the constant hum of furnaces, convinced they held the secrets to transmuting lead into gold while simultaneously crafting a universal remedy for longevity that could cure all ailments, from cancer to the effects of aging. The common thread weaving through all these narratives is their foundation in the human dread of mortality and the fervent wish to endure indefinitely. Even now, in the year 2025, as the world grapples with pandemics and climate change, this fear remains unchanged, merely shifting its methods from mystical arts to contemporary scientific approaches. So, How can we extend lifespan according to modern science? There are two primary paths that researchers are pursuing with passionate dedication. The first involves intervening at the core level through gene and cell technologies, in laboratories illuminated around the clock, where the whirring sounds of centrifuges fill the air and scientists peer intently through microscopes at tiny cells. The second is a more speculative shortcut that borders on the fantastical, cryopreserving the body in anticipation of future revival, in facilities chilled to extreme lows where tanks of liquid nitrogen bubble vigorously, preserving the hopes of hundreds of individuals. However, as experts consistently emphasize like an unbreakable rule, everything has two sides. If a method offers excessive benefits with minimal risks, the cost could be extraordinarily high, potentially involving loss of life or uncontrollable transformations. Now, let us explore in greater depth the age-old question that everyone knows but few truly comprehend. Why do we die? This applies not only to humans but to all living creatures, from the smallest ant crawling on a leaf to the massive whale swimming in the deepest oceans, all adhering to this universal law. The gentle lapping of waves or the rustling of leaves in the wind constantly reminds us of life's finite cycle. Biologically speaking, death results from the cell replication process, where errors accumulate gradually in the genome over time, much like dust gathering on a window pane through the years. From an evolutionary perspective, however, death serves as a clever survival strategy. New generations emerge, drawing lessons from their ancestors shared around warm campfires, then innovating to adapt to harsher environments, from the icy Arctic to scorching deserts. This is the optimal mechanism for humanity's ongoing existence, akin to a river that flows endlessly. Is death a flaw in the system, then? To grasp this, we must dive into the microscopic realm, where cells function as bustling miniature factories. Replication lies at the heart of life, resembling a miraculous doubling process. 1 becomes 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 8, accompanied by the steady mechanical rhythms within the body. During replication, a cell copies its entire DNA with near-perfect accuracy, like a skilled artisan meticulously reproducing an ancient painting stroke by stroke. Studies reveal that human cells can replicate approximately 40 to 60 times, averaging 50, before halting, similar to a photocopier running out of ink after 50 copies. But why does it stop? Because the ends of chromosomes, known as telomeres, wear down with each division, shortening like shoelaces fraying from repeated use. In the year 1961, American anatomist Leonard Hayflick discovered this phenomenon in a quiet laboratory, observing cells under a microscope while his own heartbeat quickened with excitement. The Hayflick limit indicates that telomeres shorten until around the 50th division, like ink depleting after 50 copies. If the ink runs out, can we simply add more? Yes. But the consequences are far from ideal. As early as the 1930s, Hermann Muller observed that shortened ends lead to sticking and migration errors. By the 1970s and 1980s, Elizabeth Blackburn and Joseph Gall identified telomeres as repeating DNA structures in single-celled organisms. In 1985, Blackburn, Carol Greider, and Jack Szostak uncovered the enzyme telomerase that rebuilds telomeres, earning them the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2009. This breakthrough sparked global hope. Injecting the enzyme could regenerate telomeres, allowing humans to live for several hundred years in futuristic homes filled with light and echoing laughter. Reality, however, proves far harsher. Each division involves copying 6 billion nucleotides, a monumental task comparable to constructing a city in an instant. Error-correcting enzymes act like quality control inspectors in a noisy factory, repairing or eliminating mistakes. Yet, some errors still slip through, like defective products reaching the market despite thorough checks. Accumulated errors weaken cells, leading to death or dysfunction, much like an old machine clanking noisily. The Hayflick limit represents nature's intelligent safety zone, guarding against infinite errors. Unlimited telomere regeneration would turn cells cancerous, replicating endlessly in a terrifying form of immortality. Recent studies in the journal Nature, up to the year 2025, demonstrate that abnormally long telomeres heighten comprehensive cancer risks, sounding a red alert within the body. The human body is an intricately intelligent structure that requires replication but caps errors through programmed self-destruction when they become excessive, a mechanism embedded by nature. Healthy cells self-destruct to protect the organism, while flawed ones schemingly persist at any cost, even harming their host. Cancer cells cheat in two primary ways: 85 to 90% hijack telomerase to maintain telomeres, 10 to 15% independently generate their own, making them the most dangerous and hardest to treat. They exhibit frightening cunning, like traitors within the system. Fortunately, countermeasures exist. Telomerase-inhibiting drugs neutralize the enzyme. Targeted vaccines train antibodies to attack high enzyme-producing cells. Telomere-destroying agents accelerate shortening. Understanding cellular mechanics is the key to unlocking solutions. In summary, extending lifespan via stem cells without inducing mutations is a viable direction. Stem cells generate diverse cell types, creating perfect replicas akin to embryonic development, from a single cell evolving into a complete body with skin, muscles, and nerves. In adults, they reside hidden in warm bone marrow, soft adipose tissue, flowing blood, or the complex brain, repairing aged cells like craftsmen restoring an old house. As age advances, stem cells decline, resembling a dwindling water source. Externally, they can be sourced from umbilical cords, despite intense ethical debates in heated meetings. Cultured in brightly lit labs, meticulously screened, and reintroduced to the body. Shinya Yamanaka's method, awarded the Nobel in 2012, represents a miraculous breakthrough. In 2006, he identified 4 genes that redefine cell roles through methylation markers. Post-division, genes gradually silence. Reversing this via viruses or mRNA reactivates them, transforming ordinary cells into embryonic ones within weeks of culture. Full resets, however, cause unlimited division and high cancer risk. Starting in 2016, partial rejuvenation extended mouse lifespan by 20 to 31% without cancer. By 2023, human trials commenced. In 2025, early-phase experiments show partial reprogramming using OSK or chemical cocktails is safer, reducing biological age by 30 years in human cells, with companies like Turn Biotechnologies and Iduna applying mRNA to treat glaucoma in eyes, poised for upcoming Nobel recognition. The waste-clearing approach involves injecting enzymes to eliminate inflamed senescent cells, reducing mutations and creating space for healthy ones, much like tidying a home for the new year. By 2025, senolytics such as dasatinib combined with quercetin in phase 1 trials for Alzheimer's lower TNF-alpha, enhance cognition, and safely penetrate the brain. Larger trials for frailty and overall longevity are underway. Regarding cryopreservation for revival, it differs from hibernation, which reduces heart rate by 95%, brain oxygen by 99%, metabolism by 20 times, and temperature to 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. Cryopreservation entails actual death, draining blood, replacing it with antifreeze, cooling to -196 degrees Celsius, halting all reactions. As of 2025, Alcor preserves over 200 individuals, Cryonics Institute over 260, totaling about 500 cryopreserved people, with more than 4,000 registered, costing $200,000 for whole body or under $100,000 for the brain alone. It relies solely on future science for revival, like betting on a miracle. Beyond immortality, it stems from curiosity about a future world where average lifespans far exceed current limits. These advancements bring immense hope, yet they also serve as a reminder that the quest to conquer aging remains fraught with risks and unknowns, leaving us both exhilarated and contemplative about the true meaning of living longer.